Welcome to the New World Order Showcase Podcast. Your host, Jill Hart, the coach's Alchemist. Couldn't be more excited to have you join us today. On this podcast, we celebrate the champions of change, the up-and-coming life, health and transformational coaches who are fearlessly stepping forward to make a difference in the world. Get ready for inspiring stories, practical tips, and powerful moments that will motivate you to make a positive change in your life and those around you. We're happy to have you join us on this incredible journey as we dive into the world of life, health, and transformational coaches who are lighting up the path towards a better tomorrow.
Hi, and welcome to the New World Order Showcase Podcast. Today we have with us Catharine O'Leary. Catharine is a client attraction specialist, and she is an expert at helping clients attract the best and release the rest. Quiz Queen extraordinaire. Welcome to the podcast, Catharine. It's really nice to have you here.
Oh, thank you, Jill. It's great to be here, and yeah, it's exciting to kick off a whole new year with you. I'm excited to kind of dig in and see how we can what kind of conversation we can have.
Yeah, me too. I love the whole quiz thing because quizzes are so powerful, and it's a great way to really understand your audience. But more than that is connecting with them on a much deeper level than really anything else out there. So how did you get started with all of that?
Yeah, great
And why
question.
quizzes?
Yeah. So I didn't grow up wanting to be the quiz queen, imagine. I wanted to be the Wolf of Wall Street. So I went through business school. I became an economist. I have a master's degree, and microeconomics, at least, is very much about the consumer behavior, about understanding the consumer and why they buy, the red car instead of the blue car when they're exactly the same, otherwise, or why they pay this price over that price, like what's triggering that, or what's the lever for that. So I went into market research and consumer insights, and for 30 years I worked in corporate and worked with some pretty big brands, being Apple and Adobe and Pepsi, and really asked a lot of questions of a lot of people, and then translated what they were telling us into something that the corporations could use. So whether that was new product innovation or marketing messages or sales conversations, whatever that kind of information was telling us for the corporation. And what it really gave the corporations, and what the corporations do really well at, is understanding where their ideal clients are getting stuck, or they are getting frustrated, or they just wish, they're dreaming of, and then plugging that gap, and bridging that with new products or different ways to look at products or bundle them in that format. And then when I started on my entrepreneurial journey, I realized that entrepreneurs tend to, how shall I say, we tend to propose marriage on the first date. So we ask if you have this particular problem, and then immediately go into a solution where it's not really appropriate. We're not ready for that yet. We haven't asked any questions. We haven't gotten into what's going on with you, with your business, or what have you tried, or what are you really frustrated with, like getting to more of a conversation around, let's talk about this problem that you're having, and let's see if I have something that can help you, because I might not. Like, it might not be me. I might not be your ideal person to help you with this. So let's talk about that before I start going after your credit card numbers, right? Because that just feels a little aggressive, and I think people are a little tired of that. I think that's changing as we go forward. That whole, buy this in the next 12 seconds, otherwise it's going to disappear forever. I don't think that resonates as much anymore as let's have a conversation. Let's see if I can help you. Let's see if you like me. And if we resonate and if we fit, and then let's have a conversation about how to move forward. So it started with corporate and with market research. And then as I got into my own entrepreneurial journey, I started in network marketing, and I realized very quickly, Jill, that I was terrible at lead generation. It was awful. It was terrible. I was horrible at it. A big F. I was doing all the wrong things. Paid advertising that went nowhere. Sales calls after sales call that was with unqualified people, and then this kind of what I call spray and pray, hoping social media that also yielded no results, and I kind of had to figure it out. And that's where I found quizzes and quiz funnels, and then with my corporate research background, I was like, oh, this is perfect. This is like, I can do this in my sleep. So I started with my own quiz in my network marketing business, and I tripled my leads and I doubled my sales. And then I thought, I wonder if this is a fluke, right? Because that's where you go for first. I don't know. Is this a one-off? And I started to do quizzes for my my colleagues that have businesses, and when they started getting similar results, I moved out of that network marketing, and I made it my mission to make sure that nobody else had to deal with the kind of lead generation frustrations that I was dealing with, and we're able to start those connections and conversations from the get-go with a two-way conversation that a quiz can be. And then it goes so much further, even deeper than that even, but that's where it started.
And when you do quizzes, it naturally leads to a conversation to get the answers and to really dive deep into what those answers are. And the whole, buy now, press hard, 3 copies, that business model is dying, thank God. It's just, it doesn't really benefit anybody. And so many people walk away from that feeling icky, both the buyer and the seller. And you're not even really sure, you made all these promises, but you're not even really sure you can fulfill them all, because you're trying to tailor it around whatever they need you can do. Well, and that's not always the case. And a lot of times it's not the case at all, because you don't really understand their business model. And it's better to have, a few clients that pay you a lot of money and get amazing results than a whole bunch of clients that get really crappy results. And
I totally agree, because I think the one model, the former model, is very lack oriented, very, very much,
scarcity mindset.
Scarcity mindset. It's very much, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Like, oh my gosh, hurry up, or like, like all this hurry up and wait. And this, this kind of, it's frantic. It feels very chaotic. I'd much rather settle into a conversation. Like, let's just sit on the couch, have a conversation. We might not be right for each other, and that's okay. I might know somebody who is right for you. Right? Like normal people. Like, why can't we just have normal conversations like normal people? And then if we fit and I can help, and and you're interested in what we can do together, awesome. Like, those are the people that I want to work with, all day, every day. And if it's, 10, or if it's 100, or if it's 100,000, like you can build the models around that, but start with the intention that you're going to be talking to the people that you want to be working with and helping in a deeper level. Like, I think as we go into this new phase, it's about being authentic and going deeper than trying to promise the world and go really broad, and then not deliver anything really.
Yeah. And it's easier if you just stick in one lane than trying to be everything to everybody. And you may have a whole lot of skills out there, but you only really need to be an expert at one thing, and you need to be the very best at that one thing, and you can make a living at it, but you get known for being that one thing. Like,
Yeah, and I think I mean when people come to me and say, "Well, my product can serve a lot of people. Like I can serve everyone." But if you serve everyone, then you serve no one.
There's no one.
So, yes, your product might be able or your service might be able to serve a lot of people, and if you can't narrow it down by, only these people need this service, then narrow it down by the people that you want to work with. Like who lights you up? Who's it? You wake up in the morning and think, "Oh my gosh, this is such a great day because I've got this mastermind full of these amazing people that I'm going to be talking to today." Like that's what you want to be building as a business, I think. That's what I definitely have gone out to do, because otherwise it's just you've just created a job for yourself, and we kind of left that for a reason.
And that brings up another point that I've found, and that's being exclusive. It's okay to tell people, no, I don't want to work with you. You know,
It is
it's good to make
because
them want you more, but honestly, there are some people that you just don't want to work with.
Well, and even in corporate, I mean, we've had to fire clients, right? We've had to fire people that like corporations that were just, just it was just not enough money in the world could account for the bad behavior or the lack of respect or the lack of integrity or the lack of willingness to do the work. The same holds true with the entrepreneurs that you're going to be dealing with, or if you're coaching, then with your clients, because honestly, like you want to wake up thinking, "Oh my gosh, this is such a great day, I get to talk to," not, "Oh, for the love of God, I have to go and do this." um that's not what you want to create. And I think that the more you fill up your roster with the people that you really don't want to be working with, then the less time that you have to work with the people that you really do want to work with. So don't fill your calendar up with unqualified and people that just don't fit with you and your business.
And that's where your quiz creation really comes in to play, is being able to filter who you're going to be talking to begin with. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's if you focus a quiz on the problem that your ideal client is having. So I call it the 3 a.m. question. What is that 3 a.m. question that your clients are waking up and worrying about or fretting about, or they desire, I just wish I could, or I don't know how I'm going to, or dear Lord, how am I going to do XYZ, whatever that is. If you can get super clear, and again, right, narrow down to your ideal client, what are they talking about, what's the language that they use, what are the words, and help them understand at least a little bit how to solve that problem, then you're going to attract higher quality leads. So like, you move from what I call a ditch lead generation. Like, because you can get leads all day long, but if they're not qualified, then they're going to waste your time. So ditch the lead generation and start client attraction system. And a quiz can help you with that client attraction system, because anyone that doesn't do your quiz, they're probably not going to do your course, right? Are they going to stick with you for 8 months or 8 weeks to do the transformation that you're offering, if they're not going to stick around for 2 minutes to do a quiz? Like if the content of your quiz doesn't entice them or excite them, or they want to learn at the end of it how they can benefit and get a result, that's okay, right? Release them to move on to who's the best person to help them, because it may not be you, and that's okay. I love it when people drop off my quiz. I love it, because it means I'm not their person. That's fine, right? Because there are a lot of people that are my people, and those are the people that I want to spend time with on the other side of the quiz. Those are the people that I want in a webinar or on a call, because I know I can help them and they're ready for the help. And isn't that what we want, right? At the end of the day, is to
Yeah.
connect with the people that that we're going to be able to really serve.
And those are the people that are going to get the best results from what you do too, because they're ready and they want it. They are waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning wondering, how am I going to solve this problem? And it's important to them to solve the problem. And when they do solve that problem, everybody around them is impacted by the result.
Yeah.
And that's the way that we end up changing the world, is because you impact one person and they impact the people in their periphery, and it just keeps rippling out.
Yeah. I mean, I love the fact that, with a client attraction system similar to this, success is a foregone conclusion, because as you know, as you get more confident and as you build your courses and your business and your services in a way that as everyone comes in, that they're the right people and that you're going to be able to help them. Like, how much is your energy going to go up? How much is your vibration going to go up? Like, like you're just going to be attracting those people more and more. They're looking for you. They just can't find you. So make sure that you can be found.
And a quiz gives them an opportunity to interact with you a little bit,
Yeah.
In the privacy of their own computer screen. They're not having to face you and decide, is this okay?
Yeah.
Do I feel safe? They can just answer the questions, and they can feel, and we all feel things when we're doing stuff, and they can feel whether this is asking the right questions for them, even. And not everybody asks the right questions for the person that they're not intended to work with.
Yes.
How was that for a convoluted sentence?
I got it. I followed. I think, yeah, the questions really do, like, you can create some really neat experiences with your quiz, where somebody might kind of, look at one of the questions, and the answers that you give might make them pause and think, oh, I hadn't thought of it that way. Or, oh, that's an issue. Yeah, I didn't even realize that. So you can be, like, showing your authority and building that know, like, and trust, even with just the way that you ask the questions and the answers that you provide. And as long as the questions aren't piecemeal, as long as they're not like the kitchen sink, right? Like, what are you wearing today? What car do you drive? What's your dog's name? Here's your financial plan. Like that. Those are the kinds of quizzes that hurt my soul. The quiz questions should be a bit of a story, a bit of a, a roadmap, stepping stones between the problem that you're having and the solution that we can talk about, if it makes sense for you. And, at the end of it, like, hopefully your ideal clients, get to their result and they think, oh my God, Jill is like in my head. How did that happen? Of course, I want to talk to her more about this, because she obviously knows me. So you've met them where they're at and they want to continue the conversation. That's them being proactive about booking with you to the next step. So it makes your life a lot easier on the back end.
I can think of 2 quizzes that I've taken over the last year, and these were quizzes I took months ago, but they have stuck with me. And one of them I'm just going to plug outright. Her name is Kathy Reggiani. I don't know if you've met her or run into her, but if you haven't, you definitely ought to connect with her. She does the dragon quiz.
Oh.
And it's about how you handle adversity, taming your dragon, your inner dragon. And she has different names for the dragons, and they have different characteristics. And it was a really good quiz. And it was very accurate. But
Yep.
when I got the answer, I was like, yep, totally relate to this. And I probably interviewed Kathy back in August of last year. So I remember the quiz. I remember the results of the quiz. I'm a fiery dragon. So that kind of detail, when you're creating a quiz, if you could make it fun and interesting, and give people, your ideal clients will be attracted to it, because there'll be something that hooks them, that and stays with them, even if they don't work with you right now. They will work with you eventually, because they'll remember you.
Yeah, and I call that kind of creativity of that process of, like, coming up with the names of the outcomes or the segments, the different dragons in this case. It's your it's your chance to be like J.K. Rowling, right? So Harry
Mhm.
Potter author, right? You know, everyone, all the witches and wizards that go to Hogwarts get put into houses by the Sorting Hat, right? So based on their characteristics, they go into Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, or Ravenclaw or Slytherin. You get to do the same thing with your quiz. You get to create the houses. So in this case, Kathy created the dragons, right?
Mhm.
You can create what color you are, or you can create what Game of Thrones character you are. If that's what works with your business, but you can like have some fun with it. Put in your personality, right?
Yeah,
Like the more fun it is, the more you're going to attract that ideal client because the more fun you're having with it.
exactly. It just like quizzes are amazing. So how do people work with you? I mean, what do you do for them? How do you
Yeah,
help them?
great question. So I help in particular coaches and podcasters and broadcasters, those people that are looking for audiences or have an audience that they maybe haven't captured on an email list yet. I help them build their client attraction system. And whether that's through a course or through done with you or done for you, there's lots of different options. But yeah, I mean, it's all about really making sure that you are strategically thinking about your ideal client, using those questions in a way that builds your authority. There are right ways to ask questions and kind of, wonky ways that will turn people off. So we talk about that. Creating your houses, creating your dragons or your, Gryffindor or whatever. And then moving on past that, how do you use your quiz after the fact? Because you got a lot of data now and you've got a lot of insights and you can co-create with your ideal clients. Maybe there's something in the information that points to a new service or a new product, or a different messaging way or a different bundle of things. Maybe see a mastermind or a pop-up class of some sort. So we kind of take it from the client attractions top of funnel, or like let's make sure that we're collecting your ideal clients and connecting with them and converting them, and then let's make them loyal raving fans so that your lifetime value of your clients move up and your revenue moves up and you can help more people.
Encourage people to form groups and push people from the quiz into a group, or are you more along the lines of get them on the phone? Where do you fall in there, or does it really depend?
You know what? It kind of depends on your offer and where you want. So all the best roadmaps always start at the end. Like you got to know where you're
Mhm.
leading people. So, before you ever start a quiz, you kind of want to know where you're leading them. Are you leading them to a course, or, maybe depending on how they answer, some people get a course and some people get a call, whatever that is, or some people get the Facebook group. It kind of, you can tailor it to whatever your marketing calendar is, as well as what you're, how you want to connect with people on those first, the first time that you're really connecting with them. So, if that's a sales call, that's awesome. If that's a Facebook group, there's no right or wrong answer, just as long as it makes sense for the flow of the conversation. Like it's a natural progression from, hey, this is, these are your quiz results. This is the dragon you are. These are some of the challenges that you have. Here's some solutions. If you want to find out more about solutions, go to what makes sense for that end of that sentence. Like, is it the Facebook group or whatever group? Is it a mastermind? Is it an application? Like, it can be anything. And that's why I love quizzes, because it can really you can change it depending on what your calendar is, but you can also, make sure that it's tailored, uniquely to your business.
And do you help people set them up? Because the tech end of quizzes are like they're so cool, but the tech end of it is really it can be complicated. So,
It can be. Um, it's almost like anything else. It can be easy too. So there are ways that you can use free forms and so on to do it. What I don't suggest is using like a Google form or something, because then it looks like a mortgage application. that nobody wants to fill out. But there are ways that you can do it. But yes, I have a partner that I work with to get the quizzes up on a platform, and then they have some ways that you can share your quiz virally on social media, but it collects all the information, integrates with your CRM, and we do help with that. Yes.
And so because it integrates with your CRM, depending on what the answers are, it segregates out to what email sequences they get, which is
Correct. So
the part that I always get stuck on.
Well, if you
Silly.
are a green dragon, then you
Mhm.
get the green dragon email nurture sequence potentially. And then I know forevermore that you're a green dragon. So I know that if I'm promoting something that's really good for green dragons, then I want to make sure that you get that promotion. If you're a red dragon, similar things. You have an email nurture sequence that goes to red dragons, and then red dragons are forever tagged in your CRM. Like, again, you can make it overly complicated. I suggest, between 3 and 5, probably 5 is a lot, of these segments to really concentrate on, because you want it to be almost like your branding, like your when you meet somebody that's also done the quiz, you can kind of have that conversation. Are you a green dragon or are you a red dragon? Like, you don't want 150 different colors of dragons because nobody's going to remember. So don't
Yeah,
make
but
it.
it's an identifying thing too. When you get your group together,
Yeah.
then people own who they are.
Yes. Yeah.
I like that.
And that's your segmentation on steroids right there. That's when you're like, like people are like, well, I only talk to green dragons. I want my green dragons in my group, or whatever it is. But that's where you can have a lot of fun on the back end with the customization and personalization, which is just going to be even more important coming up. People are kind of done with the mass marketing cookie cutter conversations. They want to be heard. And, like, so do I, right? I want to be heard. I want to be seen. I want to be, understood. And the more that, somebody reaches out to me and says, hey, Catherine, like, I understand, you're a green dragon. And, here are some of the challenges that you might be going through, and I can help you with those if you'd like to, maybe hop on this call or hop on this webinar, or I have a JV partner that, might be perfect for you. I want to hear that from my point of view, not from, I have 250,000 people on my list and everyone gets the exact same message. Because I think those days are numbered, if you will.
Yeah, I agree with that a lot. And it's not so much about quantity versus quality.
Yeah.
If you can really have good quality people in your community, and I'm a big fan, I think, of Facebook groups, because if they're active, and if you're calling out your green dragons and your red dragons and the yellow dragons and the orange dragons,
Yeah.
then they feel like you're talking directly to them and not just to the whole group, and they're just like another person in the group. Then it becomes impersonal, and we don't want impersonal. I think after the pandemic, people are like, I want connections with human beings, and
Yeah.
it can be over the internet, but it needs to be real. I need to feel it.
Yeah. And it needs to be a little lighter, I think. Like I think we're done with the heavy. The
Yeah.
heavy-handedness, the heavy pushing, and I think that people are done with the heavy sales conversations, right? Like, I would rather sit down and say, you know what, I can help, and let's talk about how we can help each other as an offer, as opposed to, oh, I have a sales conversation coming up. Like, I mean, I think that the used car salesman analogy is that's also a dying breed a little bit.
Yeah, because you can buy your car online now.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to talk to them at all. I used to equate buying cars, and I hated buying cars with, like, opening my underwear drawer and letting a perfect stranger rifle through it. It's just like,
I
that's
can't handle
always how it felt to me.
I can't handle the negotiation. Like, I just don't want to. Like, just tell me what the price is. Just give me a fair price. I don't want to haggle. right? Like I don't have time, and I just don't like, it's not a game. It's not a fun game for me.
It's not a
So
fun game for me either. And I'm not one of those people that, you know, is is connected to my vehicle in my identity.
yeah,
It's a car.
yeah, yeah. I'm the same way. I don't even care what color it is. Just does it work? Okay, good. That's all I really need.
When I get in it, will it start?
Yeah.
And if it's going to have problems, I want it to tell me ahead of time. I have a smart car now. It's like it tells me when it needs gas, it tells me when the tires are low, it tells me everything.
Yeah.
You know, we had this rental car one time with a little coffee symbol in it. And my husband, he's a truck driver, and he likes to drive like this down
Okay.
there.
Yeah.
The little sign, maybe you need some coffee.
That's
It's
actually
drowsy
pretty good.
driving.
I like that. I think
It's
I do need
hilarious.
coffee. I think I need to pull over now and get coffee. This is awesome.
We laughed and laughed. Oh,
That could be an interesting quiz. You know, what do you need? What does your car need to tell you? Does it need to stop and tell you that you need coffee? Or a nap? Maybe you need a nap. I don't know.
yeah. I wonder what the quiz was that went before that feature was invented, because I'm sure there were quizzes out there. There
Oh,
was
yeah. There were
uh,
surveys. Yeah. There were,
surveys and
yeah.
audience testing, and because they don't do
Absolutely.
anything that they don't know that they're going to get a return on their investment.
Corporate does not, or at least not usually. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they do, and they get away with it, and sometimes they do, and they don't get away with it. But the bigger corporations spend a bucket load of money on consumer insights.
And then when they do something stupid,
Mhm.
there are some fear people that have done some stupid things because they didn't really know their audience.
Mhm.
Um, like I think we all know what I'm talking about. And that it got through to actually the promotion level. And and then their audience made them very aware that they were not those people. And it doesn't matter what kind of people they are, because it your audience is your audience, and they have their own desires and wants and needs, and you need to serve that no matter what your audience is. But if you take what you're doing for your specific audience and you say, hey, let's just like throw you to the side and we'll aim at this whole nother group of people that are very antithetical to what you value and you hold in alignment with yourselves, and that's going to work out real great.
Well, this goes towards making sure that you understand your ideal client and sticking to it, right? Because if you go really broad and you go for everyone, then you're going to end up talking to people that go, "What are you saying? Like, what are you talking about? This is so not me." And you have the opposite effect on your brand, which is I would never work with that person because they're like obviously don't know what they're talking about because they're talking to me about this, and this, and I have no business with that. Um,
Mhm.
so you need to make sure that you understand your ideal client and stick to that. And don't try to be all things to all people because that's just never going to work.
Yeah, and if you change, and it's okay to change, but don't try to change it with the same brand
Mhm.
unless you're really ready to get hammered, because you will get hammered.
Yeah.
Your clients will be like, no, that's not what we signed up
Yeah, exactly.
for. So
Oh.
I know that you offer free training how to
Mhm.
create your quiz fast and free. Um, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so this is as we talked about, we can overcomplicate things. So I made it my mission because I do believe that everyone should be talking about client attraction as opposed to lead generation. I
Mhm.
wanted to create a way for people to actually get their first quiz done. and do it for free, including the programming. So it's all explained. And we go through in a 4-episode podcast, actually, where we go through and we take you through, why quizzes, how they work, but also how to create your quiz hook, how to create your questions, how to create your outcomes or your houses, and how to get it all programmed and launched, and then what to do next. So that's I wanted to release that as a, let's just get started. Get your first one out there. It won't be your last. You'll probably create many, and I hope you do. And I just wanted to help get people, out there launched and getting some leads so they can see how it works and have some fun with it.
That sounds really fun. And it is a podcast. So if you just go to yourfreequiz.com, you can listen to the episodes. And Catharine is also a podcaster, and she does have her own podcast that she does. It's called Kickstart the Conversation Podcast, which I'm really excited to go listen to. Do you want to talk just a minute about that too?
Yeah, this Kickstart the Conversation I started to, it's all about leads, lists, and leverage. So leveraging relationships. So it's really, we talk to entrepreneurs that are building their email lists or their communities in different ways, innovative ways, what's working, what's not, how to leverage your list. So now what, now I've got a list, now what do I do with it? And then, how to leverage your list into and monetize it, right? So, how to get really good partners, how to maybe get some affiliate fees and so on out of it. All while still being true to, having that community and being respectful and being authentic and, putting your clients first. So how can you help serve them even more? So we talk about all of that. And it somehow almost always comes back to a quiz. I mean, I don't know how that happens, but it usually happens, but it's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying doing it. It's almost a year old now. So we've had a lot of fun doing it.
That's awesome. I just love podcasts. I have my own, but they're so impactful. Yeah. They help people on so many different levels that it's exciting. Yeah. So what's the one thing you want to leave the audience with today, Catharine?
I think the one thing I'd like to leave you with is ask, don't guess. So really, get curious. Ask the questions, right? Curiosity is never going to hurt you, and it could double your leads and double your sales. So just get curious. Ask a lot of questions.
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining me today. This has been really fun.
Yes, thank you for having me. I had a lot of fun too.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another empowering episode of the U World Order Showcase podcast. We hope you've enjoyed hearing from our incredible life, health, and transformational coaches who are making a profound impact on the world. Remember, change begins with you, and you have the power to transform your life and the lives of others. If you want to take that next step and unlock your true potential, visit thecoachesalchemist.com, where you can find the 3 ways we can help you for free to spin your talent into gold with clarity, a system, and a plan. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an inspiring episode. And if you enjoyed today's show, we'd greatly appreciate it if you could leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback means the world to us and helps us reach more people with our positive message. Stay connected with us on social media for updates, behind-the-scenes content, and upcoming guest announcements. You can find us on Facebook at the U World Order or simply visit thecoachesalchemist.com.